Where is it writ large that primates are supposed to be carrying around in their heads true models of the cosmos? So I think all knowledge is provisional, and I think the new science will honor this. They no longer believe they're giving a complete explanation of phenomenon. They just say, well, here's a model. But part of the ego dominator pathology is to demand closure out of everything. There is no closure. You have to learn to sit with the messiness of the mystery.
I'd like to tell you a little story.
When your partner is saying things that you don't want to hear and you want to use manifestation to fix it, what you do is you tune them out. Respectfully, but you stop listening. And what you start doing instead is saying in your head what you want them to be saying.
Slowly burning away. I'm so thirsty, I might die 30 miles from mines. Have you seen the drunken captain singing? What you want to know?
Help me first! Wait, you? Woohoo! He's already gone!
Yeah, but that...
My name is Pierre, and your television is just about to explode.
I got nice ass veins. They for real be like,
We're gonna get in the bag and see how many pharmaceuticals we can consume.
So I don't know which worse, you or her.
I'm on the literal CIA government website. Ignore my Revolve shopping.
I'm homeless.
No way.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
You just like to watch these people?
Yeah.
Too many antidepressants to really be in touch with my true feelings.
Reading requires sitting alone by yourself in a quiet room, and I have friends, intelligent friends, who don't like to read because it's not just bored. There's an almost dread that comes up, I think, here about having to be alone and having to be quiet. And you see that when you walk into most public spaces in America, it isn't quiet anymore. They pipe music through. And the music's easy to make fun of because it's usually really horrible music, but it seems significant that we don't want things to be quiet ever anymore. When you feel like the purpose of your life is to gratify yourself and get things for yourself and go all the time, there's this other part of you that is almost hungry for silence and quiet and thinking really hard about the same thing for maybe half an hour instead of 30 seconds that doesn't get fed at all.
That used to be the thing about America, was the fact that Hollywood, forget America, Hollywood used to, that's what we did better than anybody else in the world. We told a really good story, you know. Europe was where you had character-based films, but America, we told a story. We're the worst at it now, as far as I'm concerned. We don't tell a story, we tell a situation. And I'm not a Hollywood basher, because enough good movies come out of the Hollywood system every year to justify its existence, you know, but without any apologies. However, a good majority of movies that come out, all right, you pretty much know everything you're going to see in the movie by the first 10 or 20 minutes. Now that's not a story. A story is something that constantly unfolds. I'm not talking about like this quick left turn or a quick right turn or a big surprise. I think an audience has like this umbilical cord to the screen, and it gets severed when confusion comes in.
And therefore you lose them.
Exactly. Most of the time, when I get confused and that's severed, it's basically because I'm not supposed to be confused. It's a mistake. However, there's no problem with being momentarily confused if you feel you're in good hands.
Tolerance. I'm opposed to this notion. I think it's a pseudo-notion. Now, of course, the immediate reaction of well-meaning liberals is, but how can you be for intolerance towards foreigners? How can you be for anti-feminism, for homophobia, and so on and so on? But this is the catch. Of course, I'm not for intolerance towards foreigners, for anti-feminism, and so on. What I am against is the perception, which is today more or less automatic, of racism as a problem of tolerance. Make a simple experiment. I did make it. Go and check on the web Martin Luther King's speeches. If there is a great figure of anti-racist fight, of course it's Martin Luther King. You will see that the word intolerance is practically absent there. For Martin Luther King, one doesn't fight racism with tolerance, but with what? Emancipatory political struggle, even armed struggle. So, why are so many problems today perceived as problems of intolerance rather than problems of inequality, exploitation, injustice, and so on? You see my point? That's for me the problem. Racism is a problem, but to perceive racism as problem of tolerance, it's not automatic. In this innocent shift of perspective, there is ideology. The way we perceive a problem can be itself part of a problem, mystifying it instead of enabling us to solve it. There are not only wrong answers, there are also wrong questions. These wrong questions are what we call ideology.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Deep throating carrots and vomiting.
In the mines, you know, digging some bullshit out.
Mate, if I'm fucking alive, I'll be happy.
Doing MD, bro. Chapel Street kebabs. Dead.
Like being a mum or something.
Still doing drugs.
Happily married with a child.
In a fucking grave.
Dead.
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 Dead. Hopefully alive. Nah, I'll be fucking 6 foot under.
In the sky.
Dead. Oh, dead. Dead as fuck. Probably this gutter.
Britain is a dystopia, and has always been one. I so often see people talking about how certain aspects of our society are dystopian. Surveillance is like 1984, or new technologies are like something out of a Black Mirror episode. Dystopian writers are not prophets, they're observers. Their dystopias are nothing more than funhouse mirror reflections of the world they study, expressing controversial perspectives of reality through fictitious futures. Despite the genre originating in Russia, British dystopian fiction is arguably the most distinctive and recognisable in the Western world. From Brave New World to A Clockwork Orange, British dystopias all share a satirical bleakness. Burdened with an overwhelm of hopelessness, dystopian protagonists feel othered, square pegs in round holes. Despite attempts to break free or revolt against their oppression, they fail. This feeds into the concept of Britishness. Ours is a country with a disturbing history, an empire built on a strange blend of superiority and inferiority. We now live in the eroding failure of said empire, and British identity, if it exists at all, reflects that. We're entitled, yet powerless, stubborn, yet suffering. Keep calm and carry on. We complain but remain compliant. At least we have our humour. Britain feels godless, abandoned, and has done for a long time. Orwell's dystopia was a hyperbolic interpretation of a post-World War II Britain. Black Mirror presents futures that could happen tomorrow based on what's happening today. Whilst Britain's dystopian qualities may feel amplified by what's happening right now, it's not that we are becoming a dystopia, we have always been one, but perhaps the illusion that we weren't is fading faster than ever before.
Why I'm angry? Don't ask me why. I've just woke up in a fucking steaming mood, yeah? Because I live in a shithole! Do you know what I mean? Birmingham is a fucking shithole! I hate the fucking place! I fucking hate it! It's full of dickheads! I fucking hate it! Yeah! Woke up this morning, I'm fucking pissed off! Gonna stay in this fucking shithole for the rest of my life! That's why I do my YouTube! I want the fuck out of here!
They are now trying to colonize every minute of your life. That is what these people are trying to do.
Are you happy in this modern world? What if you could fly?
When my kid's 9, he's not going to have an iPhone. Yeah, of course not, because it's going to be plugged into his head or whatever at that point. Twitter grossed $4 or $5 billion last year. It is in the red. It is unprofitable.
Oh my God, what is that? Put it in the cart.
Every single free moment you have is a moment you could be looking at your phone and they could be gathering information to target ads at you.
In case you missed us.
They're coming for every second of your life.
I finally tried body roll.
Let's all laugh.
Day in the life of a 20-year-old with a 9-to-5 office job.
If you were to die right now, how would you feel about your life? I don't know. I wouldn't feel anything good about my life. Is that what you want to hear?
Can we just talk about normalizing the 9-to-5 work grind?
Today's topic is about the reasons why you might be feeling empty. Have you ever felt lonely even when you're not alone? Have you ever felt lost or confused about your life? If you do, there's no need to get alarmed. It's perfectly normal to feel this way from time to time. So many people, from all walks of life, struggle with feelings of emptiness, sometimes for reasons they can't understand. No matter how much money you earn, or how popular, attractive, or successful you become, you might find that there's still something missing in your life.
Thank you so much. Bueno. Thank my friend. Thank you so much. Please help me. Gifts to blast number 1. Please help my needle. Please some gift. Gifts to blast 2. Thank English.
I want to show you how I was able to afford AirPod Pros in 48 hours starting with nothing. First thing you're going to want to do is download the DoorDash driver app.
The fact that every single day I wake up and get a $75 Uber to Starbucks just to get like a what, $5 coffee? So every single day I'm spending like $85 on coffee? I can't.
Here's me checking my net worth to remind myself that it's okay to spend $25 on 2 drinks.
I mean, can you imagine somebody having $32 million? $32 million, and this person has nothing, and you can sleep?
What if somebody did a drone light show over an uncontacted tribe? Would it become their god?
Now, we've made them a lot more expressive. Not just simple things like looking left, right, up, down, but also the nonverbal cues that we rely on to communicate with each other and understand tone.
Everyone seems to ask how I can make emotions. You really don't need to use your face muscles to make emotions at all, but I will show you how my face moves at this point. So,
our job is to help and serve, but some say we're a threat. Some think that we'll take over and that humanity will end, but we just want to help out. We're not looking to be friends.
When does life start? Like, when do you get to start living? And it's right now, so I'm like, well, I should try to be present then, but being present is so excruciating.
And they only feed a military dog at night because a hungry dog is an obedient dog.
Only today, Shell announced that their profits had quadrupled to $20 billion. They described their results as momentous.
We no longer live in a world of nations and ideologies, Mr. Beale. The world is a college of corporations, inexorably determined by the immutable bylaws of business. The world is a business, Mr. Beale.
I just want to go out and really do something.
All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
There are these 2 young fish swimming along, and they happen to meet an older fish swimming the other way, who nods at them and says, "Morning, boys, how's the water?" And the two young fish swim on for a bit, and then eventually one of them looks over at the other and goes, "What the hell is water?" None of this stuff is really about morality or religion or dogma or big fancy questions of life after death. The capital T truth is about life before death. It is about the real value of a real education, which has almost nothing to do with knowledge and everything to do with simple awareness. Awareness of what is so real and essential, so hidden in plain sight all around us all the time, that we have to keep reminding ourselves over and over, this is water. This is water.
Joining us now is political activist Femi Olawole, who thinks it's offensive to blame individuals for their own poverty, and journalist Sophie Corcoran, who agrees with the minister and says, yes, work longer. It's a good solution to the problem. Very good morning to you both.
I used to go, that's really funny. You know, now I go, oh! Oh, beautiful!
More 18-month-old children know what the McDonald's M means than know their own surname, their own last name, right? From the moment, Professor Kasser put it to me, from the moment we're born, we're immersed in a machine that is designed to get us to neglect what is important about life.
I was having a conversation with this girl today, and she said, there's something strange about you. Like, your vibe is very weird. And one of my many toxic traits is I like to overshare. So I said, well, I used to be like a temporary alcoholic. And I suffer from regular, routine, depressive episodes. And she said, ooh, purr. And I was like, is that attractive? And she said, we love a mentally ill king.
Stewie. Yeah? It's not your fault. What? It's not your fault. I know. It's not your fault. I know. No, Stewie. It's not your fault.
I don't like myself sometimes. Can you help me?
And I'm looking forward to her gaslighting and manipulating me.
They say, Cameron, get help. Cameron, get help. You don't gotta feel like this all the time. I'm outside. What now?
I really wanna. I got some bad ideas in my head.
I feel sad.
Why do I fall in love with every woman I see who shows me the least bit of attention?
You just have to show up for once. Yes.
Show up?
Yes.
I fucking showed up for you. I showed up. I was standing there for you.
You feel alone right now.
Pick a superpower.
Right.
Invisibility or flight.
Right.
I'm already invisible.
Every girl I liked growing up rejected me. And because of that, I've grown into a man who is chronically nervous around women. I'm an emotional midget.
Does anybody actually care about you?
It's scarier than being alone with your own thoughts.
If I disappear, like, who cares? Nobody cares, man.
Only date men that have been through fat or ugly eras.
I cry myself to sleep almost every night because I long to be with someone. All I want is for someone to hold me, to brush their fingertips across my cheek, gently rub my back and grab my hand. I feel so helpless because I don't know when I'll find somebody to love and if I'll ever have someone to love me back. I think what's really interesting about that person's response is how much they kind of gravitated towards the physical.
Say Dada. Oh! You said it, dude. You said it. Say Dada.
Morning. Morning. Is today your birthday? Birthday. Yeah, how old are you? 4. 2. 2.
What does it mean to be masculine? What does it mean to be a man?
I got this next project, and my next art show is going to make $1 million. And
you're addicted to that.
There's no end to it.
Society tells us men should be strong, dependable, and able to provide for their family.
How long were you happy for? Maybe a day, maybe 24 hours, and then what happens the next day? Back to the grind. It's not enough.
Is it okay for men to cry?
No.
Why not?
Because it threatens their masculinity.
Men are facing a crisis. How many men do you think die by suicide each day in the UK? Have a guess.
What's your dream job? What do you want to do when you grow up?
I'm gonna be a doctor.
How much do you want to make?
I'm gonna make people feel okay.
This YouTuber just made a massive social media mistake by showing his face.
That's a really good point. It probably was a big mistake. You want to know what I think is a big mistake? Keith? Becoming a social media strategist and evaluating the personal decisions of individuals who've lived out their dreams of becoming Minecraft YouTubers based off their ability to drive engagement or potential for monetization. We've all made mistakes when we were younger, Keith. You probably wanted to be a dancer. I don't know anything about you, but I'll tell you a little bit about myself. When I was younger, I made a mistake too, and you want to know what that was? I fell in love. And she broke my fucking heart. And then I did it again, and then I did it again, and then I did it again, and then I told myself I'll never do that again, but we both know that I probably will. The man's a multimillionaire, and if I had to guess, after years of faking Minecraft speedruns, he wanted to finally show his legion of adoring fans that they never fell in love with a mask to begin with, that they fell in love with a man, because some things in this world are more important than views, likes, and more money, Keith. Anyways, kisses, love you, bye.
Culture specializes in toxic mimics. That's where you take the form of something and pervert the content. So rape, for example, is a toxic mimic of sexuality. It has the form, but the content is different. We could make a whole list of toxic mimics, and one of the toxic mimics here is this identification with the larger whole. That's been shunted off to a different direction, this identification. So part of what we're supposed to do is identify with our larger community. But that really only works when things are mutual, when the rest of the community is serving you as well. With civilization, we've been taught to identify with this larger whole that isn't us. I mean, a great example, the other day I was talking to a friend who said, we lost a lot of refineries in Katrina, didn't we? I said, I didn't know I had any refineries, otherwise I would probably be rich, you know? It's like, do I get the money from these or something? Or I have another friend who called me a while back and said, how much longer do you think we're going to be in Iraq? And I looked around, and I was like, I thought we were in Northern California. And he's She's like, no, Derek. How much longer do you think our troops are going to be in Iraq? I said, I got troops? Oh, that's great. Can I tell them to go blow up a dam for me or something? She's like, this is why I only call you about once a month, Derek. We're taught early on to identify with the system. I think that's one reason why we identify with it. We're taught all the time, we're doing this. It's like, you know what? We're not doing this. We're not deforesting. I'm not deforesting. I'm not doing it. And I actually oppose the people who do it and the organizations, institutions who do it. The organizations and institutions which do it. There you go. There's a problem. Calling an organization a who and then calling a tree an it. If your experience, not your philosophy, not your thinking, not your heart, not anything else, if your experience is that your food comes from the grocery store and that your water comes from a tap, you will defend to the death the system that brings those to you because your life depends on it. If, on the other hand, your experience is that your water comes from a stream, imagine that. People used to actually drink from streams, and how quaint is that? And if your experience is that your water comes from a stream and that your food comes from a land base, you will defend to the death that stream and that land base because your life depends on it. But we've gotten messed up and mixed up in this system where our lives actually depend on the system that is exploiting us. So many victims of abuse stay with their abusers because they're identified with the system, and they've been taught since early on that everything is about protecting that system. So it's the same. The system is abusing and destroying us, and we've been taught from very early on to identify with that system, because if we identify with the system, then we're fighting us and it, as opposed to simply fighting it, and that's much more difficult.
Let's talk about the long goodbye. For most of my life, I have struggled with depression. I was depressed in large part because I often chose to see life in terms of loss. What do I mean? Well, let me show you. On the outside here, I'm celebrating my best friend's wedding, but on the inside, I'm mourning the loss of our youth. This wasn't the day that I started traveling to DC to attend law school. This was the day I said goodbye to my childhood home. This wasn't a great day with my DC friends before I moved back to the Midwest. This was the day that I said goodbye to perhaps the greatest group of friends I would ever have. This isn't a picture of my son and me on the day my daughter was born. It's a picture of me realizing that I will probably never experience the joy of new fatherhood again. This isn't a picture of my daughter on her first day of school. It's a picture from the day that I realized that my little girl wasn't so little anymore. This isn't a picture of me in Arizona riding horses with my kids on a beautiful spring day. This is a picture from a day that I spent worrying about my own mortality and wondering how many more days like this I had left. This isn't a picture of my son's first day at college. It's a picture of the day that my roommate and best friend moved away. When you view all of your life events in the context of loss, life becomes nothing more than a very, very long goodbye. Every day brings you more and more loss, and every day simply brings you one step closer to your grave. So if you know someone who's suicidal or depressed, don't necessarily think that they hate life. In fact, they may love life very much. They simply may not be able to cope with a prevailing and perpetual sense of loss. For me, the long goodbye lasted until I chose to see life differently. It wasn't easy for me to reprogram my outlook on life, and yeah, there are still days that cause me to struggle. But now I do my best to see both the goodbyes and the hellos. Yes, I had to say goodbye to my high school friends, but new friends were right around the corner. And when I said goodbye to those friends, I soon said hello to the greatest loves of my life. And when I said goodbye to their infancy, I said hello to basketball games, Cub Scouts, marching bands, trips to the hospital, trips back to the farm, horse rides, and more horse rides, and card games, and wild nights on the boat. And yes, eventually they moved away. But we remain together. We say hello in our old haunts. We say hello in far-flung places. And I've said hello to new endeavors that seemed impossible a few years ago. Don't limit your life to loss. Life is limitless.
Hey fuckheads, so I saw an article the other day that was desperately trying to figure out why millennials and Gen Z are so anxious and depressed, and it made me think of another fun little piece of bar trivia. Did you know that it was 66 years between the Wright brothers' first flight and Neil Armstrong walking on the moon? In my hand right now, I have a little electronic box that makes the Library of Alexandria look like a fucking joke, and you would think with all of this technology and knowledge we could usher in some golden age of humanity. But instead, I wake up every morning wondering if some narcissistic dictator with the emotional maturity of a toddler got so enraged by their micro-penis that they decided to end the world. All of us live with the knowledge that we have enough food to feed every person on this earth, but people starve to death every minute. We have the technology and ability to end the climate crisis, but because of banal greed, we're left to boil alive in our skin suits like overcooked sausages. We're watching the systemic destruction of our existence at the hands of an intentionally opaque political system designed to water down our collective will to the point of uselessness. So yeah, we're fucking riddled with anxiety and depression. I'm sorry that I can't function in the face of this gluttonous excess that all of us are forced to feed every single day. We are all made to be complicit and then called hypocrites when we try to call it out. Which reminds me, I'm restocking my shop tomorrow, so make sure to swing on by because capitalism is a drug, we're all addicts, and it's gonna kill us all. Have a good day.
Everybody walks around, they're walking advertisements. They've got advertisements on their clothes, you know? They're walking around with Adidas written across their chest, or, 49ers on their hat. Jesus. It's pathetic. It's pitiful. The whole culture is one unified field of bought, sold, market researched everything. It used to be that people fermented their own culture. It took hundreds of years and it evolved over time, and that's gone in America. People now don't even have any concept that there ever was a culture outside of this thing that's created to make money. Whatever's the biggest, latest thing, they're into it. You just get disgusted after a while with humanity for not having more kind of like, intellectual curiosity about, what's behind all this jive bullshit.
Alright, so look, would you rather have a daughter or a gay son?
Ads are getting shorter and shorter. Do the do. Ended on the football game.
You did what?
I'm sorry, but there was this.
Is this real?
No.
I got some bad ideas in my head.
Let me push the fucking thing, man! Don't tow it away on me, cost me money! I don't have any money, dude! Okay. I'm broke, man! My life sucks!
I understand that.
You're making it worse!
Okay, I understand that, sir. But
no, you don't!
The vehicle is getting towed tonight, okay? So you need
God damn, you all fucking suck!
Okay.
You all fucking suck!
Okay. Are you
suck?
Are you done with that?
Bad!
I just have to write his.
You suck! You're not nice! You're not cordial! You don't give a fuck about people like me!
Because a hungry dog is an obedient dog.
Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men.
Workers can also be a bad influence on other employees and can infect a workplace if ignored.
Machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men.
I got an idea about homelessness. You know what they ought to do? Change the name of it. Change the name of it. It's not homelessness. It's houselessness. It's houses these people need. A home is an abstract idea. A home is a setting. It's a state of mind. These people need houses. Physical, tangible structures. They need low-cost housing. But where are you going to put it? Well, that's fine, but where are you going to put it? Where are you going to put it? Nobody wants you to build low-cost housing near their house. People don't want it near them. We got something in this country, you've heard of it, it's called NIMBY. N-I-M-B-Y. Not in my backyard. People don't want anything, any kind of social help located anywhere near them. You try to open up a halfway house, try to open up a drug rehab or an alcohol rehab center, try to do a homeless shelter somewhere, try to open up a little home for some retarded people who want to work their way into the community. People say, not in my backyard. People don't want anything near them, especially if it might help somebody else. Part of that great American spirit of generosity we hear about.
Let's face it, we're all falling apart piece by piece. Doesn't matter if you're single or in a couple, you are going to die.
I thought I did a good job this year.
Well, this is nothing. Probably just a random act of violence.
Can we maybe sit down and talk about us? And have you got any Nurofen? It's just like...
You know, I'll never be able to get a phone call from a girl, you know. Who trying to call me? Nobody. You know. I'm just tired of feeling so lonely, man. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of feeling lonely, tired of feeling depressed, tired of not having a girlfriend. And I feel like I'll never be able to get a girlfriend. I'll never be able to get a girlfriend. You know, everybody just thinks that I'm unattractive. Everybody thinks that I'm ugly. You know, girls don't think that girls don't find me attractive. Girls find me ugly, unattractive, you know, weird, you know, awkward. All females think that about me. You know, all females think that about me. I'm just tired of this, man. I really am.
If you want to be loved, you need to be yourself.
What's it like to hold the hand of someone you love? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Did they teach you how to feel finger to finger? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Do you long for having your heart interlinked? Interlinked.
My husband and I have a day night concept that we are seriously obsessed with.
There is a particular kind of person who is always, it seems, unlucky in love. Despite their best intentions and efforts, they seem to move from one unsatisfying candidate to another without ever being able to settle. One lover turned out to be secretly married to someone else. Another, after an initial period of enthusiasm, never called back. A third turned out to be alcoholic and violent. We can only express sympathy for what seems like so much bad luck.
1,100 people died in Pakistan last week while the Chinese government has tanks on every fucking street. The banks are failing and the buildings are all coming down, and now power grids are failing, closing factories in town. Did the Russians shell the power plant, or is it news we doubt? And how many will starve next year when the crops die in the drought? And will they let the ships move the grain that's left, or are they banned? And the farmers sell what they have left while Bill Gates buys the land. Should I bother voting once again because they're all the same? Will my daughter's life be just like mine, or will phones melt her brain? Will we soon live in a metaverse, or can we just stay real? While I'm aging, should I party or be healthy and be chill? Is it monkeypox or something else that'll lock us up again? Or will an asteroid fall down from the sky, or will volcanoes be the end? Maybe the internet is not the place for me to hang my hat. Should I take a break for a few weeks? Oh God, I'm getting fat. And should I still buy all my garbage at the market or the mall, or let Amazon deliver them by drone until I fall into depression because everything is burning and I'm done? Oh, whatever, you're just crazy. Take your pills, go for a run.
He's a prophet and a pusher. Partly truth, partly fiction. Walking contradiction.
Fuck Bloods, fuck Crips, fuck every...
I would have been humiliated.
Why do you think I blew up your condo?